Hello, good morning, everyone. For those who do not know me, my name is Heloísa Fitz. I'm not that new to the Spiritism group. I was with them for a long, long time, but then I took a huge break for the last 2 years. And now I decided to come back. So I'm very, very excited to return doing my first live ever. So bear with me if I do any mistakes. But very, very excited to be back. So I would like to start our live today doing an initial prayer just to set the tone and ensure we start this beautiful sunny morning here in Dublin. So, like everyone, just to close your eyes or keep your eyes open as you prefer, but be nice and comfortable and raise your thoughts to Jesus and to the spirituality, and just saying a big thank you again for being able to wake up and have an opportunity to being here and restart our day, restart our opportunities to be able to do it again, have a new day, a new chance to do right once more, to try once more. Because as today, our speech is going to be about our soul makeover. Uh, we hope that we can always improve ourselves, and then Jesus being always our guide and our inspirations as our big brother and our aim for perfection can always be here for us and bless us, bless this country that has kept us here in Ireland, and bless this planet that is so much in need of love and respect. So be it. So today I'll be talking about soul makeover, which is one of the most, if not the most important spiritism information. It is our truly again. They say you cannot be a real spiritist if you don't start with your soul makeover. And so, what is when we talk about soul makeover? A makeover in general, all of us, I think, have an idea of what it is, and we love a good makeover, don't we? Cinderella has her own makeover, going from the little girl so from being a housekeeper and then suddenly being a princess, or like many other makeovers, like people that have decide to have those different haircuts, makeups, and look at all young again. Or here in Ireland, the famous Operation Transformation, that people decide to lose weight, to be healthy again, and change their life forever in relation to their health, which all of that is great and good. But I think it's time now for us to talk about a little bit about our soul, and a soul makeover is a little bit like that, but it's going to go a little bit deep down on us. So now next slide. And how do I go to the next one? Hold on there, guys. Just one technical issue here, guys, and I promise you that I get to the next slide. Here you go. So, to become the best of you, I think that's the aim of our soul makeover. We have Socrates, who was the first one before Jesus and before everybody, who said, "Who am I?" Socrates came with that philosophy of saying, for us to really have the deep of the knowledge and say that he would not be the wisest man in the world if he would not know who he was really. And he said, I don't know who I am because I do not have all the knowledge in the world. So he said, you would not know who you cannot know everything if you don't know who you really are. So Socrates started with the idea of self-knowledge and have the idea of really knowing who you are to be able to then look for knowledge in everything else. Socrates had a very famous student called Plato, and Plato being one of his most faithful students and followers, also came up as well with a very interesting understanding about morals and rightness. Plato had a cousin who was totally against the idea of people being right, or people actually being good by people being born good. His cousin said people could not be good just because they were good. People are always going to be good because they wanted something in return, or they wanted to be good in front of someone just to be seen to be good. So his cousin said and invented this theory called the judge's ring. So that was a story that if you would put this ring, you would become invisible. So with that, you could do whatever you wanted. And he said, then you would prove that even if you were considered a good person, you still would do something wrong because no one would see you anyway. You would be invisible and no one never would catch you anyway. And Plato would argue with him and say, but if you had really your morals in the correct place, and being visible for that day, you still couldn't do the wrong because your morals are in the correct place. Because he had learned from Socrates that you knew who you were. So even that no one knew who you were because you were invisible, but you yourself still knew that you were there, you were yourself. So then is the question that I now ask you guys. Do you know who you are? Do you know if you put a ring, the judge's ring, and then you can become invisible for the day? What do you think you would be capable to do for the day? Do you think then you're going to be able to go to that shop that you always want to buy something and just rob something? Do you think you're going to finally be able to give a kiss in someone you always want to do, even though that person doesn't want to kiss you? Or do you think you're going to be still be you and follow your principles because you know what is right and what's wrong is wrong? So what's going to stop you? What has been stopping you from doing wrong? Is the fact that you can be caught, or is the fact that you have your morals, principles actually already right within yourself? The Spiritism has already been with us since Kardec was here over 1.5 centuries ago, and Kardec was here together with the Illuminism. That was when France just came back from the revolution, the revolution that happened over there. And that time, many questions have been raised, and was the time that democracy started happened, that many other things has been happened, that many questions have been raised in France. And Kardec was definitely one of those also students or people of that time of the French Revolution that definitely learned how to ask questions. Reason why he is so extremely important, that without Kardec, the Spiritism couldn't exist, because Kardec just was brilliant by asking questions. And one of the most important thing, and I think we always have to define ourselves, is by starting in the big one. Who are we in general? So I think this one I gonna read because it's very important. We are defined that we are eternal spirits. We are children of the same Father, of the same Creator, light of the same light, and subject to the same laws, rights, and obligations. And that we start from the same principle. What's the same principle? That's the universal principle. That's when Kardec asked, what is God? Using the gift of free will, we define ourselves as individuals, life after life. So it is the free will that define ourselves as individuals. So we are what we are, life after life. And it is our free will that's going to define us. And we are today what we made ourselves yesterday. We are our own continuity. We are destined for happiness and progressive perfection according to our desire and effort, in accordance with the laws of work, love, and justice. So I think in here straight away we have to stop and think, because one of the biggest thing that people say is like, it is the suffering, like, the suffering, like, oh, I'm suffering, I'm here to suffer, so I'm gonna suffer forever, that's my karma. Or like, if that person is suffer, oh, they have to suffer because they were so bad last life, so that's it. Not really. We are always destined for happiness and to progress, because there is the desire and effort to make it better. There is the law of work, there is the law of love, and there is the law of justice. But it is always up to us, because there is the free will. So we will suffer, of course, we will. And if we are here in this planet Earth, you and me and every single one, is because we have the same thing in common. We are definitely not saints. And we definitely have things to do in here. So, guys, we are in the same group. We are, as they say, flower in the same sack, aren't we? But it is up to us now to do, or to choose, how are we going to do it. So we cannot forget about that. And where do we find all that information in our spiritism? So uh, spiritism, it's definitely like a school, and the information is there in the books, so you're not left by yourself to be wondering where to find, how to be guided. If you have to be wandering around, all those books are downloaded for free, so you don't need to spend a penny, okay, to buy books. You can buy if you want, but if you want, there are the websites you can download in English if you are English speakers here. So you can download those books in English. You can download those books in Portuguese or in any other language. There are many, many, many websites to download those books. So the information, the source for your knowledge is there for you, and is free. So it is up to us to get the knowledge. It is up to us to learn. So in the first one that you can see, there is the Medium's book. And the Medium's books, we have the items 303 and the 292, where Kardec basically is asking about, of course, how to improve the mediums, and what was the purpose, how to become better mediums. And then again, is the straight away they're gonna always say, you have to know yourself, you have to understand yourself. Why? Because how are you gonna differentiate a spirit that's there to make mockery of you, to say just silly things for you, if you don't know who you are? Because then you're gonna just understand whatever you want to understand. Then you're gonna be using your power of communication to the other world to be doing things that's not right. Like, for example, fortune teller. How many people say to me when I say that I'm a spiritist, and they say to me, so why don't you ask what's the numbers for the lotto? Seriously? Because that's a joke. First, and what is the first principle that we just read before? That it is our free will, but it is my free will, and it's for my own self improvement. I'm not here to be making mockery and to be making money for my own self. That's not the objective of spiritism, and that we're not here to be making this type of questions to the spirits, because they do have more important things to be doing. The second book that you can see here is the Gospel according to Spiritism, and the Gospel is absolutely beautiful. Why? Because it's based in the teachings of Jesus, and of course, since all his disciples, and it is the reading of the Gospels of the disciples, and based in what the Spiritism understand of that. So in the chapter 17, yes, of item 4, again, he's going to be talking about the self-knowledge, how to understand yourself, and how the improvement of your soul, and how to become better. And then in the spirits book, that's the last one you can see, you have just a profusion of questions and deeper. You have an entire chapter of about self-knowledge, that when you start with the moral compass in the question 919, that about self-knowledge, that he said, how do I know that I'm going to the right place, or how do I know that I'm becoming better? He said, you need to know yourself. And it is one of the famous phrases of St. Augustine. When you put your head in your pillow every night before you go to sleep, your prayer should be, how did I do today? How did I behave today? How did I speak to someone today? Did I upset someone? Did I say something that I shouldn't? Did I comment? Did I say words to someone, or did I badmouth someone for no reason at all? Did I shout without reason? Did I help someone in need? Did I just ignore it? Because one of the other famous phrases of Jesus wasn't doing no good and doing bad goes to the same category. So those are where you're gonna find base and source for your soul makeover. But now you guys are still like, okay, Heloísa, loads of yala, 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 but how to get to know me? Well, I'm gonna go to that right now, and I promise. It was one of the letters from Chico Xavier, that those, I think it's 20 principles that we have step by step that I'm gonna give to you guys. There are a few websites that's a lovely exercise in Portuguese. I presume they're in English as well, and I will find and send a link and may put in our website. And it's going to be how to get to know me. In Brazil, there are many spiritism groups that do the soul makeover. Some call self-knowledge refurbishment, or the word is intimacy. Refurbishment in Portuguese would be the literacy translation, which if you say really in English, it sounds something else. So I think the self-knowledge or soul makeover would be the best translation. So let's start our soul makeover. And I think that image really says, so who doesn't love a good spring cleaning? And I think that's what our brain needs once per year, or even more than that. We need to declutter. We need to make sure that our brain just is removed for this amount of information that we receive. We live plugged every day in a world of the internet, social media, in the amount of information and abuse we receive every day, opinions galore, and people saying who is right, who is wrong, what support, politics, economics, football teams, religions, and everything. And people have opinions, and I think social media gave people more platform, definitely, to give their opinions, which is great. But at the same time, there is no filter in what people can say and not say anymore, to a point that we just absorb too much. So I think a good spring cleaning, it is really, really important. So let's start using our little vacuum cleaning now. And I'm going to start with Chico Xavier, our lovely at Brazil, one of our big heroes in Spiritism, not only one, but one of our biggest heroes, had said to us. So the first teaching is joyfully perform one's obligations. What that means, exactly like this wonderful lady is doing. Do your day-to-day duty with that big smile on your face. I smile always open doors, and try to do what you have to do. At least you don't need to be always laughing because that's impossible, but let's try to do what we have to do as calm and happy and content as we can, because life always could be worse. So let's try to keep as positive as possible. Silence in the face of offense. Jesus did say, give one face, one day slap, you give the other one. It is easy. No, it's not easy. Very difficult. And I say that for my own self. But we do need to start silencing the face of offense. We are barking at each other all the times. We see that in Brazil quite a lot, and we definitely are seeing here in Ireland, in the UK, and in many other countries. We need to stop the barking. It's better to be quiet. And if someone says bad to you, something bad to you, you just don't take it. An offense is like a gift. You just say no. Like, sometimes someone can offer you a cup of tea, and if you don't want, just say no, thank you. I know Irish people can be insistent with the cup of tea, but it's you confirm yourself, say no, thank you. So silence in the face of offense. You just be quiet, and the offense would not take you. Forget the favor given. Favors are to be given, not to be remembered, to be taken back. Others are not favors. Okay? And people keep counting, they keep a note beside saying, I give a favor to that one, never receive it back. No, no, never receive it back. So that's not a favor, really, what you're doing. So if you're doing that, you're losing totally the goodness of your favors. Our favors are to be favors, and they have to be forgotten, because otherwise you're going to lose the principle of the favor in itself. Hard, a lot, guys. I'm not saying that's easy, but we have to do that almost like, no, as a daily thing, almost like we do with kids, because kids are so much. I have three myself, and it has to be almost your automatic. Give, give, keep doing, go whoop, whoop, whoop. Because if you keep waiting for their return for every single little thing you do, first, you're going to be disappointed in life a lot. So always align your expectations first. And just remember, a favor is a favor. And that word means you're not going to get in return. Not maybe from that person. Maybe life is going to give it you in a different way. Exonerate friends from any kindness to us. So some people think friends, they have to, they are obliged to, they have an obligation with us to do things to us because they are our friends. So because she's my friend, she has to do something for me. She has to prove. If she's my friend, she has to do that. As if friendship comes with a certain contract, with clauses and obligations. And if the person doesn't do exactly as we think that is kindness for us, so that person is not a friend. So then we don't understand friendship at all. A friend always gonna be a friend if we understand who the person are, and again, if we understand who we are, isn't. Sometimes the person is able to demonstrate love by listening to you with a cup of tea, but that person won't throw you apart to say that you're the best person in the world, put a billboard outside, throw confetti when you arrive in town. Some people are like that. Other people, they're just discreet, but they will listen to you on the other side of the call. Maybe they don't call you for 2 months, and they're not going to be sending you like no birthday cards and loads of gifts and things like that. So just careful how you measure friendships and size of kindness. Mute our aggression. Very hard, isn't it? Very hard. The way we react to things. And nowadays we react a lot. We don't need too much to literally do like this tiger. We go and we give it a bite and it hurts a lot. Careful, careful before we bite. A lot. Did not in nosso lar, I think, when André Luiz was asked to put water in his mouth and not to say something for a while because just to learn how to be more patient. And I think with our aggression is more or less the same. And not swallow the water keep like that. Careful. Physical aggression, verbal aggression. Careful what you're gonna say. Because few things can annoy us a lot, and we do get annoyed. We see something wrong, we read something we think is wrong, but that is our opinion. And then straight away we're gonna attack. And that attack, once it's said and once it's physically done, it's done. There is no way to take it back. So mute, be, because it's gonna avoid us many, many problems. Do not condemn opinions that differ from ours. It's hard, isn't it? Of course it is. Because we do have our opinions. And sometimes people say, but so that means I cannot have my own opinion. Of course you can. We all can have our own opinions about everything. But one thing is to have your own opinion. The other thing is to put the finger. Because when you point, what happens? Look, the amount of fingers and I'm pointing to my own self back. Opinions are to be have it and to be shared and even to be debated. But you can only debate opinions and really talk about opinions when first you have very solid views about things and you understand the other views as well very well. It's like people that are going to talk about religion. Really, you almost have to be a theologist. You have to understand really other religions to be talk about every single religion. Otherwise, do not talk about it. So do not condemn something that you don't know the subject deeply. And you should never condemn anyway, because no one knows any truth and do not exist a truth. Someone once me told, it's like we leave everyone, imagine a star, and then the star has a big made of big high walls, and each one of us live behind one side of that star. So we see the truth behind that wall of those five sides of that star. So for me, the truth is A, for the other one is B, for the other one is C, D, E, and so on. But it's the same star, but we just seen from different angles. But it's the same star. So who is right or who is wrong? No one. So do not condemn. Abolish any malicious or unnecessary questions. How many times we've seen that happening? How many times you already seen a situation that you can see someone is truly upset about something, or is a subject that's it's very hard, and then comes a question like the abortion, or like a case that horrendous happened in Brazil, a 10-year-old girl that got raped, and then I still had to hear and said, but she was actually going out with with the boy. He was 13 years old, so he was actually her boyfriend. So would that give the right of us asking that girl if she wanted to keep the baby or not? So careful what we ask. Careful, because you be malicious, you be mean, and that's evil. So abolish any malicious or any unnecessary questions, because what you're doing, it's evil. Repeat information and teachings without any bitterness. And I think the work of teachers, especially for younger kids, It is one of the most beautiful things that we do around the world, because that's what they do daily, isn't daily and million times per day, because they have memory of a little golden fish, and they have to repeat and they have to repeat, because they can't keep, they can't remember, and they will ask the same thing, but why, but why, but why? And those teachers in general, they just have the patience with them themselves, with smiles in their face, and I see that in the crash my kids go to. Those professionals are just blessed by God, and that kindness, that smile, and I think that type of professional has something to teach us, that we are all children in this planet, in that sense, that we have to remember that we are in different levels of understand as well, in different levels of evolution. And if a brother of ours or a sister of ours are not understanding something, and they need to relearn that lesson again, and they asking us again, we cannot go, but I already told you that. I don't think that's the way of answering a question. I'm saying that it's easy. No. Do I do that? A lot. And then it's the reason why we have to remember ourselves with our soul makeover, like in ourselves, because we need to remove that bitterness and remember. Just sometimes look at that person, maybe just remember as a little child, they remember they need a little cuddle again and a little push again. And links to this one, train constant patience again and again and again. Being a mom of three, I have three kids, two boys and a girl, 7, 5, and 2, has taught me that patience has always to grow, because it's insanity in this house most of the time, and we have to train our constant patience, because they test us, of course they do. uh, they but they don't test us because they want to. They're kids, and they are not provoking us, as people say. They are kids, and there are other things going on outside that's nothing to do with them, and it's not fair if I throw my problems on them. And then it's not fair as well if I get the frustration of my kids, and then I get my impatience on my work colleague, or on my husband or a friend or something. So we learn. We have people that do meditation, there are people that do yoga, there are people that go for a run, there are people that do box classes. There are many ways that we can do and train our patients and get our way. And I am pro any way that you can get your patients within yourself. One said it's healthy and legal, um, but train, because as more patience you have within your soul, better your health physical is going to be, and better your spiritual health is going to be. This is I love. Do fraternally listen to the sorrows of your companions without biographing our pains. You know the famous, you telling someone else your problems, and then the person say, "Oh, but that's nothing. Oh, what you feeling? Nothing. You know what happened to me the other day? I'm gonna tell you what happened to me the other day. I had that pain, then I had to go to hospital and got it much worse, and then I had to do that and that, and then the person start telling their whole life and all the problem, because they want to relate, and then almost forgetting what that other person is going through, instead of just listening to the other person. Sometimes the other person just wants to feel that they are being empathetic, but no, the other person is just telling their whole life without really listening to the other one. So careful with that. Just sometimes the other person just needs is a good big pair of ears to, so they can just offload, and that's a big big act of charity by itself. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to have words. sometimes. Because sometimes you go, what am I going to say? Say nothing. Just give someone a hug and say, I'm here for you. Say it. That in itself, by the person speaking, it's like almost a psychologist does, isn't it? Sometimes you're talking, talking, talking. You actually find an answer. So let the person talk to you without you comparing, telling your own story and your own pains, and the other person going, oh gosh, I can see then that my pain is nothing then. So just another one that Chico told us. Unaffectedly seek the way to be more useful. We need to be more useful because, as I said before, doing no good and doing bad is going to go in the same category, but without doing a whole fanfare out of that. Yeah, like I want to help, woo, and disturb a whole process that's already happening in the place. Ah, but the way you're doing, like you shouldn't be doing like that. I know a better way to help here. Let's change the whole process. You're already affecting a whole way. You want to be useful? Just ask. The famous phrase that normally customer service people who work in customer service know. How can I help you? How can I be useful? Always have that. How can I be useful? And see how they need your help. Because that's how we actually really useful to someone. It's not how we think we can help, but it's how someone needs our help. Always have that in your mind. Apologize without apologizing. Eh, my husband always say that to me a lot because I tend to apologize with apologizing. And then he said, that's you taking away the whole process of apologizing, and which is true. Don't give explanations. It like, I did that wrong, but because like, because you did that and that and that and that. And I think you have to understand, so you're not really apologizing. What you're doing, you're justifying how mad you got it and why you then coming to apologize. Just apologize. Do not speak ill of anyone. You know the famous phrase as well, if you have nothing good to say nothing at all. I heard that, I don't know exactly where, but it was two friends. One, both were kind of famous, but one was like a fashion guru, and then one of their grandfather was driving the car, and then this fashion guru was saying to the other girl, talking about a third friend that wasn't in the car, and say, oh my god, our friend dressed so bad. My god, she has no sense. She's pretty, but she has no sense. She's so vulgar the way she dressed up. And the other one, oh, I know. And then the fashion was like, my god, I just wish she had more sense. And then the grandpa just said to the granddaughter, can I have your phone for a minute? And he said, why, grandpa? Because I want to give your friend, like, let's say, Sarah, a call. And they were like, why won't you give Sarah a call? No, I want you to give her a call so your fashion guru friend can tell her, how she can dress up better, because as she's so good as a fashion guru, it's much better if you tell her how to dress up better than to be there bad mouthing about her. Because if you have nothing good to say to her to help her, so don't be bad mouthing her on her back. And isn't that one of the biggest lessons? So if you don't have the capacity of helping someone that they're criticizing and bad mouthing, so don't open your mouth then to bad mouth that person. Seek the best part of the people who share the experience with us. And that's everyone that's around our life. Friends, colleagues in work, our partners, our kids, our moms and dads, grandparents, family. It's like if we are in a queue, in a straight line queue. So I have a backpack, and the backpack I have all my bad traits. And in front of me, I'm carrying a bag, a normal carry-on bag, and this in this bag I have all my qualities. So I only can see my qualities, but the person behind me can see my bad traits, and I can only see the bad traits of the person that's ahead of me. So always remember that we can only see, if you can only see the bad traits on the other person, we can't do anything in life. So let's remember that we're not in that type of queue. We are around. So we all have a backpack full of bad traits, don't we? We do. Full. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We would have been a better planet. But we also have a bag as well, full of good qualities that we worked hard for them. So let's see what we have in that. Let's see with our colleagues having that, and let's compliment each other for that, because the bag gets bigger by compliments, by say, wow, you're so good at that. Wait. And then that bad trait sometimes gets smaller, the backpack, the load. Rejoice in each other's joy. That means really be happy for each other. But really, when a friend, your husband, your wife, partner, whatever, kids, get something in life, they achieve something. They said, oh, I achieved something in the gym. I really lost the weight I wanted. I got a promotion in my job. I got graduated. I finally got pregnant. It doesn't matter what it was. But be happy like those two friends are. Like, well done. But it is a famous well done. Not like, well done, but really, I don't know why she deserved that. I don't really think she deserved it. So you're not really happy for each other. And then actually creates such a bad energy in the air if not really happy for each other. But when we get really happy for each other, you attract a most good energy in the universe for yourself. Because when we support each other, it's like if we create that wave and we woo, oh, lift each other, and then you can actually lift you up as well. So each other has to be rejoiced by us, because people will notice that, and they will also gonna lift us up. So it is a very important lesson. Do not annoy those who work. Not like little bee getting there in the pot and doing the honey. Who is working and whatever it is, in your job, in the spiritism center, in any place, let the person do their job in the way that the person knows how to do their best. Don't annoy, don't disturb, don't keep asking to do something else, don't keep poking, don't keep distracting. You need to be focused. Let people to be focused as well. Careful for you to not be the obsessors in someone else's life, because we can be. So be careful with that. Help spontaneously. But that has to be really like whoop, whoop, lift someone. Someone is on the street, she fell, phone. You don't think twice, guys. Just help. Don't. He's asking for money because gonna buy drugs. I don't care. Help. If you have a coin, give it with a smile and say good luck. That could change that person that day. Maybe he's not gonna buy any drug at all. He's gonna go and buy a bread to eat. If it's to help, help spontaneously and without second thoughts. Respect the service of others, and is anything that person is doing, it is how the person is doing, and it's just the famous, just respect how people do, because it is the famous, how would you like to be treated? So it's how you treat somebody else. So be truly respectful to other people, the way we speak, our tone of voice, how we, even with our manners, doesn't matter if it's girl is a boy, the famous holding a door, you hold a door for everyone. If it's a man coming, if it's a girl coming, respect the service of others. Reduce particular problems. This one, I even have to read again and again, and I needed more explanation. I said, huh? How am I going to reduce my own problems? I would love to reduce my own problems. And here am I moaning. It's exactly that. I am the queen of moaning. Queen. Drama queen, my husband called me. And exactly that. I tend to exaggerate a problem. I tend to kind of put a little bit of sprinkles. a little bit of more chocolate sauce, so my problems make them a little bit bigger. For what reason? Just to become a victim. And that's good. No, for no one. My mentor problem think, oh, here she comes again. Oh, it was no need for that, Heloísa. And it's not good for anyone. So reduce particular problems, because some problems could be little. And then you make like, a storm out of something that's small. So just reduce it. Just look at that. Say, okay, tick it. Okay, next, tick, next. Some problems are going to be big by default, but some are just small, guys. So just breathe and tick the problem. Tend to cut. Don't put the sprinkles. Don't put the chocolate sauce. Don't exaggerate. Don't keep moaning and talking about it and tell 10 friends about that problem, because then that problem creates legs by itself. And then when you see like, woo, became an octopus. So reduce. I tell by experience. And serve with good mind when sickness hurt us. I was in hospital this Friday, 2 days ago, with my daughter, my little 2 years old. Just a thumb bug, nothing too serious. But of course, when you're in children's hospital, your heart just melts because, like, no, they're tiny and cute and all of that. And then I was talking to the nurse there, and I said to her, I said, "Oh, I would say it's so hard to be a nurse in a children's hospital, like, because they're so cute." And she said to me, "You know what?" She said, "I much prefer being a nurse in children's hospital, and I was before a nurse in adults hospital for many years." And I said to her, "Really?" And she said, "Yes." And I said to her, "Why is that?" She said, "Because kids don't moan." And I think that really totally is gonna add to this explanation. Kids don't moan. Kids are there. They're sick. They don't know much about what's going on. They're just there. I need to get better or whatever's going on here. They're more factual and they bounce back, and I think it's because of that. But not adults. Oh gosh, when we are sick, we complain. Oh my God, I don't want to take the medication. No, I hate that. Oh, what I'm suffering here. We give the poor nurses and doctors a hard time. We protest. We complain. Everything is awful. We get moody. We get grumpy. We treat our family badly. Everything becomes a disaster. And then our mind is definitely not in a good place. And normally it is in sickness. That's when we're really being tested. It's the famous how you gonna get yourself when everybody's gonna fall, but it's how you actually get yourself up. That's how you show how your moral is really are that moment. So fall, it's basic, everybody falls. But it's the way that you lift yourself up that shows who you are. So I think that's the most important thing. Let's learn with kids. We're gonna get sick, yes. By default, we will. Our bodies, like the human bodies get old and we will get sick. But how we treat that sickness, how we treat our body, remembering that our body, it is what we eat, what we drink, and what we think. So it is all of that. So we affect our body in everything, and even our cancers, and even our many of our diseases, considering that we believe in reincarnation. So we know we have a history, a baggage. So we cannot forget that. So serve a good mind when sickness hurt us. It's easy, no, it's not. But we're not victims. So we're gonna have to stand tall, treat our body, go to the doctor, follow everything that has to be followed. But at the same time, guys, remember, we are not victims of anything. As really in the start, we are what we made ourselves to be. So we're going to have to endure that with grace. Never lose the grace of doing everything. So that's it. That's me today. And I hope you guys have enjoyed my presentation. And I'm gonna just finish with little notes from the Spiritism group, by saying that every Tuesday and Thursdays at 7:15 we have the lives. On Wednesdays we have the Stud group, also at the same time, 7:15. And we have the healings that happen at 8:30 on Tuesdays as well. At that, you don't need to join. I understand that they happen automatically and on YouTube. On our website, www.ssi.ai, you're gonna see the address of our new place where you're gonna have our meetings, which you're gonna have every quarter, every 15 days on Sundays. And the first dates for the 4th of September. So finally, we're gonna meet each other face to face. So hopefully, you guys are gonna be there and we're gonna meet each other. And of course, always to, even though COVID apparently is not as bad, but we have to be strict with COVID guidelines, for many reasons. But it would be absolutely great to see everybody back. And I hope you have enjoyed, and you have a great Sunday and a great start of week. And you can start your journey of your soul transformation, um, and your proper makeover from body to toe, head to toe, and especially from your soul. And if you need any further information, you can send an email to our group, to our SSI. And I would love to send more information to everyone, where to find links and everything. And I hope you enjoyed, and God bless you all. Take care.